What defines a successful senator to you? Provide examples of who you look to for leadership.
There's so many examples of look for leadership, and I would tell you, to keep this short, that you have to look to yourself for leadership now at this position. So when somebody tells you they're going to surround themselves with good people, you have to realize at this level of leadership, you have to be a mentor for those leaders. So I look to my spirit, and that's in God, and I look for the environment around me, so that you can observe and see how to challenge people to stand up and do the things they already have the ability to do. You have to create will in people. And most people have the ability. They don't have the will or the desire. So when you bring hope, then charity comes. And I really forgot your question, so if
that's
I went on a tangent on there.
The definition of a successful senator, or examples of who you look to, who's been a mentor for you.
Measuring success is not hard, because if you can achieve things on a daily basis, you have to put your feet on the ground first. Say, thank God that I was born in America, because I've been all over the world and there's no other place. So if you want to measure success, you have to compare, what's important about being an American, what's important about being a leader, and why are you doing this? So when you measure success, you measure it every single day. You ask yourself, what did I do for my country today? And whatever it is that I've done, can I improve on it? And can I continue to move forward so that others can prosper?
Using spiritual and or philosophical sources, cite a couple passages on life and or leadership that you feel have helped shape your core personality and approach to politics.
I got to go simple on you on this one. Yeah, I could quote spiritual stuff because that's who I am and all, but my father said many things to me, so let me see if I can't pull 3 of them out. He said, never lie. If you lie to me, we can't fix the problem. But if you tell the truth in hardships, then we can always fix those problems. So never lie, cheat, and steal. That's my basis that my father would always say to me just before he smacked me in the back of the head. He'd also say to me, do it right the first time. And to do that, you have to not only take your own opinion in there. It's not about what you think. You have to take observation, validate, and compare. And then you have to ask others to take a look at what you're saying so that you can cross-reference it. But the bottom line is, when it's time to make a decision, you make that decision. And then the last thing he said to me, by the time I'm old enough, by the time you're big enough and strong enough to whoop me, I'll be so old you'll be embarrassed to do it. And you can apply that anywhere. Everybody's always trying to whoop the next guy or beat the next guy. But if you would just participate in the common threads and to deliberate respectfully, then you can move on. But you can get the work done. The work is in with the common thread.
What do you view as an appropriate and healthy ratio of federal to state dollars in Missouri's annual budget?
Well, I'm not in the quoting business of saying that annual dollars. But you take a look at the ratio of what the government's offering. So you look at the federal government, you look at the state government. Sometimes we don't agree with those plans, but if the money exists and it's there for Missouri to use, we should be using it, and we should be balancing it out. The difficulty that a lot of people find in this is, if the federal government's managing that money, it's not going to go where it's needed. The state government needs to decide what that budget is. We do a great job here in Missouri. I talk to the state representatives all the time. It's the #1 thing they focus on. How are we going to spend our money wisely? And I think we do a really good job of that. So my main key focus is make sure the states get to make those decisions, because they're gonna know exactly where to proportion that in the state.
If the vote were taken today, would you vote for the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act?
I think that there's a lot of work to be done, and the act should have been sectioned off a little bit better. So the problems didn't happen in a day, and you can't make them go away in a day. But you can work on one thing every single day. And I think that we could have done a better job at that.
So is that a yes or a no?
I don't know, to be honest. I would have to thoroughly read over it before I'd make a final decision. I think it'd be very unfair for me to say one way or the other. Politically I could say one way or another because that's the way the background of my party is. But I think that we could be able to better product if we would have done legislation that was more specific, and broken it down into sections.